Look, I'm just gonna say it. If you haven't been keeping up with anime in 2025, you essentially missed the anime equivalent of the Avengers Endgame of seasonal television. We had legends taking their final bow, we had studios going to war with each other, and we had one adaptation so good it made an entire community forget how to spell overrated in the comments. I've spent the last 11 months, watching, rewatching, analysing frame-by-frame breakdowns, reading industry reports, and losing sleep so I could definitively rank the 10 best anime of 2025. And I'm about to save you approximately 400 hours of homework. But here's the thing. This isn't just some vibes-based list where I tell you, this anime made me feel feelings. No. If you've ever trusted a stranger on the internet with your precious free time, let it be now. And if this video helps you discover even one anime you end up loving, do me a solid and hit subscribe. It's free, it takes half a second, and honestly, you're going to want to be here when I drop the 2026 list next year. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 10, and honestly, this placement is going to upset a very specific, very sophisticated subset of you. We have The Apothecary Diaries Season 2. This is the thinking person's anime. While the rest of us were watching people punch each other through mountains, Apothecary Diaries said, what if we solved murders with poison knowledge in ancient China? And also there's political intrigue that requires you to actually pay attention. The audacity. Toho Animation and OLM ran this for 6 months straight, January through June, with a continuous 2-core format. That's not a season, that's a commitment. The character acting in this show is insane. Mao Mao raises one eyebrow and I suddenly understand an entire subplot I missed 3 episodes ago. If Solo Leveling is the summer blockbuster, Apothecary Diaries is the prestige limited series your friend with the good taste won't shut up about. And honestly, fair. Number 9. Dragon Ball Daima. Let me be very careful here because this one means something. Daima wasn't trying to reinvent Dragon Ball. It wasn't trying to be bigger, louder, or more powerful than Ultra Instinct, whatever we're calling it now. Daima said, what if we went back? What if Goku was small again? What if fights were actually fights, and not just two guys screaming at each other while the planet explodes? And here's the thing, Akira Toriyama worked on this. This was his final project. The 20-episode run that finished in February wasn't just an anime, it was a farewell letter to the franchise he created. Toei Animation understood the assignment. The martial arts choreography was grounded, fluid, and genuinely exciting in ways Dragon Ball hasn't felt in years. They traded the laser light shows for actual technique. Is it the most innovative anime of 2025? No. But does it deserve to be on this list for what it represents? Absolutely. Rest in peace, Toriyama-sensei. We'll keep watching. Number 8 is for the Chaos Gremlins in the audience. Gachi Akuta. This is what happens when Studio Bones says, you know what, let's make a whole subsidiary production house specifically for this one manga, call it Bones Film, and let them go absolutely feral with it. The aesthetic of Gachi Akuta is trash, and I mean that literally, and as a compliment. Graffiti-inspired art, grungy environments, and an anti-authority energy that feels like it was designed in a lab specifically to activate Gen Z's fight-or-flight response. Director Fumihiko Suganuma worked with actual graffiti artist Hideyoshi Ando to capture a visual identity that's dirty and tactile. You can almost smell this anime. It's only a few months old since it premiered in October, but it's already filling the void left by other shows about fire and societal critique that disappointed us. You know the one. Gachi Akuta is the new generation's shonen, and I'm here for it. Number 7 is going to hurt. Takopi's Original Sin. Yeah, this one. Listen, I need you to understand something. This is a 6-episode ONA about a cute alien octopus who tries to solve human problems with magical gadgets. That's the setup. That's the premise they sold us. What they did not tell us was that the human problems include bullying, domestic abuse, and trauma so heavy it makes most psychological anime look like they're playing on easy mode. Studio Enishiya, who before this I couldn't have named if you'd put a gun to my head, delivered an emotional haymaker that no one saw coming. The short format works perfectly because it doesn't let the misery become gratuitous. It hits, it hurts, and then it ends. Takopi is basically, what if Doraemon, but the world is cruel and gadgets can't actually fix systemic human suffering? You've been warned. Bring tissues. Number 6. Sakamoto Days Parts 1 and 2. Okay, this one has a story. When TMS Entertainment was announced as the studio for Sakamoto Days, the internet, in its infinite wisdom, threw a collective tantrum. Why not Bones? Why not Mappa? Why are we doing this? The discourse was loud. And look, part 1 had some issues. The colour palette was too bright, it didn't feel gritty enough. The fans complained, as fans do. But here's where TMS earned my respect. They listened. Director Masaki Watanabe explicitly addressed the colour grading critique, and part 2 came back with a harder, more hard-boiled aesthetic that actually matched the manga's energy. Is it Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1 levels of production? No, but it doesn't need to be. Sakamoto Days knows exactly what it is. A retired assassin trying to run a convenience store while his past keeps showing up to cause problems. It's fun. It's stylish. The fights are satisfying. Sometimes that's enough. And speaking of things being enough, if you're enjoying this list so far, drop a like on the video. It genuinely helps with the algorithm, and it tells me you want more deep dives like this. Also, throw your own top 10 in the comments. I want to know who I'm about to argue with. Number 5 is why I had to leave my lights on while watching anime this summer. The summer Hikaru died. This show snuck up on everyone. Premiering July 5th, just 2 days after Dandadan Season 2, it could have easily gotten lost in the shuffle. Instead, it became the horror standout of the year. And it didn't do it with jump scares or gore. Cygames Pictures, a studio usually known for not this, delivered pure atmospheric dread. The premise is deceptively simple. A boy named Hikaru gets replaced by an eldritch entity, and his best friend Yoshiki notices, but doesn't say anything. Because what do you even do with that information? Here's how detailed the production was. They literally credited someone as the Doro Doro animator. That translates to slime/goo animator. They had one guy whose entire job was making the fake Hikaru's unsettling movements look properly wrong. That's dedication to the craft of making you uncomfortable. The sound design, cicadas, wind, the ambient noise of rural Japanese summer, creates this claustrophobic feeling that never lets up. Chiaki Kobayashi and Shuichiro Umeda as the two leads absolutely nailed the unspoken tension. Best psychological thriller of 2025. Not even close. Number 4 is for the sophisticated enjoyers. Lazarus. Shinichiro Watanabe came back. The guy who made Cowboy Bebop. The guy who made Samurai Champloo. The guy whose name alone makes music nerds and animation purists start breathing heavily. He returned on April 5th, 2025, and he brought the entire jazz community with him. The soundtrack, and I cannot stress this enough, is absurd. Kamasi Washington, Floating Points, Bonobo. These aren't anime composers. These are internationally acclaimed artists who have no business being on a television anime soundtrack, and yet here they are, absolutely cooking. But Lazarus isn't just good music over mediocre animation. No, Watanabe brought in Chad Stahelski, the John Wick guy, as action director. The fight choreography doesn't feel like anime. Characters reload, they get tired, they grapple realistically. The physics have weight. Mappa and Solar Entertainment translated Stahelski's vision into 2D with startling precision. Lazarus is the anime equivalent of that friend who just got back from studying abroad and now only drinks pour-over coffee and discusses the craft. It's pretentious, and it earns every ounce of that pretension. Best direction, best soundtrack, not even a competition. Number 3 goes to the anime that has no right being this good at this many things. Dandadan Season 2. Science Saru said, what if we took aliens, ghosts, body horror, slapstick comedy, romance, genuinely touching emotional moments, and, you know what, let's throw in some kaiju, and put them all in a blender. And somehow, it works. The Evil Eye arc this season introduced Gigi and explored the possession angle with a balance of genuine horror and absurdist comedy that only Dandadan can pull off. The body horror elements during the transformation sequences, instant social media moments. Every single week. Netflix's weekly release strategy meant this show stayed in the conversation from July through September. It dominated my timeline. It dominated your timeline. It probably dominated your mum's timeline if she's the kind of mum who accidentally got into anime. Director Fuga Yamashiro continues to push the boundaries of what TV anime can look like. The surrealism, the expressionistic animation, the constant visual invention. Science Saru is operating on a different wavelength. The only knock against Dandadan? The tonal whiplash. One moment you're laughing at something ridiculous, and the next you're watching something deeply unsettling. But honestly, that's not a bug. That's the feature. Number 2, ReZero Season 3. If I had to give one anime the Writer's Choice Award for 2025, it's this one. While other shows were competing to see who could punch the hardest, ReZero was out here crafting one of the most emotionally dense, narratively complex stories of the year. The split core strategy let White Fox maintain a level of quality across what is essentially a marathon of suffering. Subaru's journey in this season is heavy. The show demands your attention. It demands you remember plot points from seasons ago. It rewards you for paying attention and punishes you if you're checking your phone. This is not a casual watch. This is a commitment. The character acting is phenomenal. The voice performances, particularly Yusuke Kobayashi as Subaru, continue to raise the bar. The psychological depth is unmatched by anything else that aired this year. And I know what some of you are thinking. If it's so good, why isn't it number one? Because while Re:Zero is the best written anime of 2025, the number one spot requires something else. It requires cultural dominance. It requires being undeniable. Which brings us to Solo Leveling Season 2, Arise from the Shadow, the king of 2025. And it's not particularly close. Look, I know some of you are already typing. Solo Leveling isn't that deep, it's just power fantasy. It's carried by the animation. And to all of that, I say, so what? A1 Pictures took every piece of criticism from Season 1, the CGI shadow integration issues, the compositing problems, the occasional jank, and fixed it. The team was restructured, the resources were allocated. Hiromu Oshiro on motion graphics, Yuji Kondo on editing, and Hiroyuki Sawano continuing to provide a score that makes you feel like a god just for watching it. The Jeju Island arc, the Baru fight, the Arise moment where Sung Jin-woo claims the Ant King's shadow. These weren't just anime scenes, these were cultural events. For 3 months, from January through March, Solo Leveling was the benchmark against which every action anime was measured. If you went on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, anywhere, you couldn't escape it. Yes, the adaptation cut some of the manhwa's internal monologues about Jinwoo's psychological deterioration. Yes, purists have legitimate complaints about the style over substance lean. But here's the thing about Anime of the Year. It's not just about being the most intellectually stimulating. It's about capturing a moment. It's about being the show that defined the year in a way that transcends niche appeal and becomes mainstream conversation. Solo Leveling Season 2 did that. A1 Pictures earned this. And for 2025, Sung Jin-woo reigns supreme. And that, my friends, is the definitive top 10 anime of 2025. From the intellectual sophistication of Apothecary Diaries to the raw emotional damage of Takopi. From Watanabe's return with Lazarus to the cultural juggernaut of Solo Leveling. This year gave us everything. Honestly, there's never been a better time to be an anime fan. But here's the thing, 2025 is also a reminder that not every great story has gotten its adaptation yet. Some of the best manga sitting on shelves right now are just waiting for a studio to take a chance. If you want to know which ones I think deserve it most, I've got a video for you. 10 manga that need an anime adaptation now. It's right there on your screen. Click it. Let me tell you about the future. And if you made it this far, seriously, thank you. Drop your own rankings in the comments. Tell me where I was right. Tell me where I was wrong. Let's argue about it like civilized people. This has been Top 10 Guy. See you in the next one.